Envoys.
Hi.
Today we wanted to take a beat and talk about virtues.
Yes.
Yes, we had our dev stream last week where we talked all things Soulframe Preludes 13, and the most confusion and hesitancy was regarding virtues, so we wanted to have a sit-down, quick
Which is not
chat.
surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Not surprising.
Yeah, and we did rush the info as well, which was a little unfair.
And I'm humble.
I kind of, improv there. So
So-
let's get into it. And I think it was great to see the questions coming up so that we can follow up with answering them.
Yep.
Yes. So, at the highest level,
Yes.
virtues are no longer manually distributed point by point, and instead are going to be shaped by virtue prisms.
Right, yeah. And I think if we, as Jeff is fond of saying, take a step back. If we take a step back, the problems we identified, there were many, and I think even if some of our solutions maybe aren't the same that you might choose, I think we can all agree on the problems that the things that were using the virtues were really imbalanced towards courage, that armor was not behaving the same way attunement-wise with how the weapon system works, how many envoys were not using the points that they had to spend and leaving those on the table, so to speak, that many found the plus-minus and the number system to be far less approachable than we are hoping to make this game, which is a big part of our initial design goals, to make the onboarding a little simpler than maybe some of our past games were that I worked on. And then finally, it was difficult to manage that system with how loadouts were made. So all of that together meant that the diversity of builds was not nearly where we want them to be. So we took January as a chance to kind of rethink how all of those things work. And we came up with the idea of the Virtue Prism, which encapsulates lore and story for the game and creates future interesting rewards and variation, not just the way the points work, but maybe even having stories or weird effects attached to them, or even synergies in co-op play. Bonuses.
Yep.
But also that it creates a much more simpler interface for new players joining the game to just slot one in and take away all of that micromanagement. And that would also be tied to your loadout. So that comes with a big change also on the ability side. I don't know if you want to talk about how the packs now work, Scott?
Yeah, so all the Pact's powers are synced up with basically the virtue that they represent. So instead of courage, grace, and spirit all affecting all of the powers in a little bit different way, courage affects only the courage Pact power, and the grace and spirit follows the same. So if you're a very specific build, then that power will get more powerful.
Yeah, and I think early on when we were discussing the changes that we needed to do to this system, one of the initial ideas was to say that the Pact is kind of determining the distribution of your virtues. And the problem with that became every Pact was just the same build. And so that's why we've separated these concepts into kind of...
Another big part of that was the armor and weapon attunement.
Right.
If your Pact was basically determining your layout, then your armor and your weapons become invalid when you switch.
Yes.
Which I think was
Which
not
felt
great.
like a rug pull as well.
Yeah, so it sort of dampened players' want to experiment, their need to experiment, so.
And I think you keep saying this all the time when we're talking. It's like, I'm building a spirit bear, which I think sounds like a great Disney movie.
That's me.
But the idea would be that if you like Bromius, that that doesn't push you into the corner of being just a melee user with heavy armor and that sort of thing. There's more variation there, including even possibilities of kind of blending those virtues using talismans, or using the current upgrade tree that packs have to kind of say, well, my prism is this way, and then I'm going to offset this way so that I can start being a bit more tanky with this grace.
One thing we didn't talk about on the dev stream was the Pact skill tree. We did do a light update of that. That's going to eventually get replaced, but we did a light update so that the virtues weren't sort of chained together in the old fashion. They used to be, you had to sync one point into virtues that you didn't necessarily want in order to get the one you did want. So now there are 3 separate branches on the tree, so you can go directly to like, oh, I want to add more grace or courage to my build, so you can go directly to that versus spending potentially a wasted point early on just to be able to have access. So that was a light update we did to the Pact.
Very cool.
Biggest fears we have been seeing is this looks like we are losing control.
Yes.
And I think it's fair to say that while the old system looked really flexible, it wasn't necessarily doing much in practice in the way we wanted. Most weren't investing, as you said, or hard dumping courage.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I think a big change what we've done with this is make sure that each of the virtues actually has a place in the base sort of stats of the player. Before it was sort of like, well, they did things, but you didn't really know what. You know, they all added together to create your health and stuff like that. Now they have a specific use, and I think that helps with the build diversity.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually find my loadouts now to be more meaningful.
Yes.
It's something like I toggle through them a lot more than I did in the past as well. I make more kind of thoughtful decisions about my armor with my prism. Like it's feeling pretty good that way.
Yeah, I think it is fair to say that a hardcore version of this would be that you are plus minusing those points. But again, one of our principles with us kind of dipping our toe into the kind of RPG genre is making sure that initial thing is more approachable. So that is why we went with that choice. To say what the virtues do scale now, did you want to say that? It's going to be in the UI. I just added it last night. But,
Yeah, so again, courage will basically determine your envoy's health. Spirit drastically changes your Pact ability cooldowns. Grace will up the lethality of your envoy. So that feeds into a few different systems with like the finishers, stealth headshots.
Sneak attack.
Sneak attacks,
So it's more, and it also has like a bonus attunement onto Grace weapons to make them more powerful. So it's really, you end up with like a very kind of lethal character if you go deep into the Grace line.
Yep.
So.
Okay, big question from many.
Yep.
How do we acquire Virtue Prisms? So there are 3 starter prisms, and you will receive a Virtue Prism alongside your initial Pact choice.
Yep. Yeah, so if you chose Tethrin, you're going to get sort of the meditation of a warrior of Mora, which is the sort of courage-leaning prism. And then the rest
Yes.
of those are a visit to the different enclaves in the world. You don't need to sign up with them. You don't need to get the talisman grind or anything. Just go talk to them. And they're going to say, thanks for visiting me, and here you go.
Yep.
And if you aren't aligned to them, you'll probably hear them actually say a few new things as well, which is kind of interesting and fun. But our goal is not to have this in RNG.
Yes.
Very important. For all of them in the future either.
Yeah, we don't want them in the drop tables. This should be like a guaranteed reward. If you're looking for a specific prism, then you know where to get it.
Yeah. Be story-based, be objective-based. You'll know how to do an action and get a Prisms award. We'll probably work them into fables in the future, things like that.
Great.
Yeah.
We had a question about weapon scaling and attunement. In Preludes 13, virtues now directly power your gear. Weapon categories are now standardized to align with an attunement. So large melee, swords, great swords, polearms scale with courage. Small melee, daggers, split swords, flyblades scale with grace. And magic weapons scale with spirit. The majority of weapons, however, have split scaling so that you will be aligned with multiple attunements. Armor also scales with virtues, which we will be showing in tooltips. We actually had a question, is this going to be represented accurately in our tooltips? So yes.
Yeah, so the some of the imbalances in the game from those attunements have been changed with this update. So there is more choices across the specializations and the blended specializations. You also kind of reminded me that there is building a spirit based build is a little higher risk right now. Some of that is changing. And a great example of that is some of the boss attacks are magic now, which means that spirit sort of mages will actually be more effective in those situations.
So they will one-shot me less often
Exactly,
when I'm in
exactly.
Koga.
Yes, exactly, yes. So that we're rewarding those kind of specializations in the proper context. There's a bit of balance, I think, that we'll have to do ongoing there. But now with the armor attunements, which will show up in the UI as well, and some changes to how joineries and weapons are doing it, so it isn't so confusing there.
We talked about blessed joineries.
Yes.
We wanted some clarification on that for those that missed it. So they no longer reattune weapons. Instead, they strengthen
Yes.
an existing virtue alignment, essentially.
I think that philosophy there is too soon on some of those joineries, kind of muddying the waters of, okay, well, I'm making a build and now it's kind of distorted it. So for the first pass that we're doing, we've sort of, I think, made that clearer and made those specializations a bit stronger. But again, split specializations are still possible using the Pact upgrades combined with talismans. You can do some very interesting things. I know Joe was saying he was making like a warrior caster by specializing with a spirit prism and then using the Pact upgrades and talisman to kind of push it over in the other direction.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we did have a couple questions about the long-term vision for Virtue Prisms. How large do we think the system is going to go? What will other prisms look like in the future? The vision, the long-term plan.
long-term
Where is
vision.
it going?
Yeah, I think, as I said in the opening, and I'm not sure what you guys think, and we do have a lot of ideas for ones to add. Again, as Jeff was saying, not in drop tables, not grind goals, but one-off story beats, completions of fables. That's the kind of spirit of how those prisms are going to be added to the game. But one right off the hop that I saw a comment on was potential prisms that create co-op synergies. I think that'd be very interesting. Ones that just straight up add a couple virtue bonuses and other more interesting effects. Things that you can't really capture if you just gave like a plus minus thing. You can't capture those kind of special enchantments that they might bring with them. I don't know if you guys had weirder ideas than
No,
that.
I think exactly that. By itemizing it and creating a thing in the world, you can now attach lore to it. You can attach magic to it. You can attach bonuses for the players. I think that's super important.
I was sort of thinking like shower thoughts of one that. You know the Kurosawa mode and Ghost, like that. You know, I was thinking about one that's sort of like this martial arts warrior, but anytime you do a kill, it goes black and white.
Changes the state.
I think it'd be fun to try to mess with that kind of stuff. Those would be interesting flavors.
But I think even just as another avenue for world building is really exciting as well.
So really the first step in this, and if you're still unsure, that's okay. We hope you test it out. Thanks for digging into this, and we're going to be tracking your feedback and reactions, and
coming soon.
Coming soon.
And we are kind of relooking at all the armor that's in the game right now and modifying it to find balance. I know Spirit is feeling a little light at the moment, but because of this, we're really working hard to get the Wazard armor in the player to come with the update, which will be Spirit leaning as well. So
Excellent.
Great.
All right.
Thanks for your questions.
See you in Preludes 13.
Thanks so much.
Yep. See you next Preludes.
Bye.
Thank you.
Is this a puffin?
That is puffin. That is
I don't think they make
Pascal the
caca.
I don't think they do.
No.
That was a crow.
It's
But
probably like.
Sarah has an agenda though.
Yeah.